Hello and welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast with me, Gareth, your ever clever host, and Keith. You need to understand that sometimes there are two names, like Vulcan and like Hermes and Mercury and stuff like that. And some people might learn the Roman version rather than the Greek version.
Well, no, just something better. I've just had a thought, right? As we're on this, because I know that you do. Have you done the thumbnail yet, or is because ChatGPT's had a paddy?
It's had a paddy, so I haven't done the thumbnail.
I'm not going to give you ideas though, because I was going to ask you who you've made me this week, but I'm not going to give you the idea because then you'll do it. How you been?
I've been all right. Went to the cinema yesterday early. I woke up and I was like, I should go and watch it. So I went and watched the first showing I could get Saturday morning. Cinema wasn't that full, but then again, it was 11 o'clock on a Saturday.
Mine was absolutely heaving, which is quite a surprise because I haven't seen it that full since the good Marvel movies were out. I think that was the last sort of. I've seen it that full when it's a Thai movie, right? Understandably Thailand, but it was heaving. I mean, I couldn't get like the premium chairs. I had to like, sort of like slog it down in the pauper section of the cinema. It wasn't very comfortable either. But we don't have a fancy cinema like you, but we do have like a sofa at the top. And I usually get one of those. Even though it can fit two people, I usually get one even when it's just me on my own because it's so much more comfortable. I was in that cinema 3 hours? I mean, it's a fucking long film. We'll talk about it, but it was uncomfortable.
Yeah. I got towards the end and I was gagging for a piss. I'm like, I've got to fucking just disappear out for a slash quick. Just try to empty my bladder as fast as I could to return to the cinema. I have a lot of thoughts. We'll get through on this, and we'll get to the review section. But we've got some like kind of other bits for news and this, that, and the other coming up. Watched Silo. Did you watch Silo?
I did.
Talk about Silo.
I've watched quite a lot this week. I mean, because I've sort of been having to sort of do sort of mundane stuff. I've had stuff on, so I watched Will Ferrell's his golf comedy that came out on Netflix, which is a bit meh. I'm watching at the moment something on Prime called Ride and Die, which has got the bird in it from Ted Lasso. It's actually surprisingly not that bad. It's got Bill Nye in it it's not that bad.
I watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
I've watched that as well. Yeah, what did you make of that?
Wasn't what I was expecting.
No,
I was expecting something else. I was expecting a mad time travel romp, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, yeah, I'll give you that. Have you seen anything else this week, or is that your?
I probably have, but I can't
just
fucking
don't remember.
Yeah, don't remember. Didn't leave an impression.
I'm enjoying Ride and Die at the moment. That's not too bad. I'm enjoying that.
I did try watching one called Mosquito Coast on Apple TV, and that's fucking slow. And I mean slow. I'm talking about if I'd have been in charge of that TV series, I would have done the first 2 episodes in the first 15 minutes. Yeah, I would have done that quite quick. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, let's get on with our first story. There we go. How about
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Yeah, something isn't bloody right. I have to pull my notes from my phone. So Chris Nolan has just released the Odyssey, but the natural conversations have already shifted to this question: what's next? The answer is don't expect anything soon. Nolan says the production of the Odyssey pushed him to his physical limits, and while he was already known for being a kind of film director who wants to make next audiences waiting at least 3 years before they'll see anything. Christopher Nolan told NBC Today that the Odyssey was a much more enormous undertaking, and he has no intention of rushing into another production. So I would have preferred if he'd done Dracula.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think he would have done a bit of Dracula. Wait for it. Sorry. Sorry, I have a thing on my phone that says charging, and everyone finds it strange, but it just tells me if I've actually plugged it in and it works. Yeah, I don't know. I think usually takes about 3 years between films, as it is anyway. So 2029, we expect to see the next Chris Nolan film. I don't know.
I think he can take a couple of years off. I think he needs a break, and I think he needs to reset. And we'll talk about why when we talk about the Odyssey. But I mean, even when he's still an interesting director. I will still go and see his film no matter what. And there are things that we'll talk about in a bit because I've got thoughts as well. But he is at least a director that generates, debate.
Yeah, I think we've said it. Chris Nolan on a bad day is still much more interesting than most directors on a good day.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really enjoyed our study that we did, because I felt our study was, it was really interesting going through all these films, and I really enjoyed going through all these films, and I kind of agree with you even on a bad day, but I think. I'm not entirely sure why the Odyssey was that much of a production. I think there are other films that are probably what I would have argued are heavier.
I'd actually said this is probably for what it should have been a bit of a fucking letdown. But again, I've got to hold off on those when it comes to the bits.
But it's yeah. I mean, it's interesting he's come out and said this. Although, I mean, I saw him on Jon Stewart in interview him the other day, and he didn't look tired, but maybe he needs to take. He did come across as a little bit pretentious at times, so maybe he could do it a few days, a few years off. But we'll talk about it in the review because I've got thoughts as well on a number of things. Yeah. This next story, though, I do want to talk about.
Okay.
My name is Jeff.
Marvel loves hiding its biggest reveals until the very end. According to Tom Holland's Spider-Man Brand New Day has been teasing its biggest clue right in the title. In a new behind-the-scenes documentary, Holland revealed that audiences have been interpreting the subtitle the wrong way round. Rather than describing it where Peter Parker's chapter begins, Peter Parker begins this chapter, he says the meaning of Brand New Day only becomes clear in the movie's final frame. Naturally, this has sent fans into full frenzy mode. So yeah, it's. I think they're hiding a villain. I think they're hiding a villain in there. There's a monster inside you, Peter. What kind of thing could be inside Peter Parker? Or what's famous for bonding with Peter Parker? I don't know. Could be anything.
Okay, so my gym is it's not a Thai company, it's Australian, I believe, but they're all over the world, and they've got a time with Spider-Man. And my wife bought me a personal trainer for 3 months to make sure my fat ass goes to the gym. And they got to see Spider-Man yesterday. Of course, my first fucking question was, does he die? And he kind of nodded. Now, I have now then since heard what the post-credit scene is, and it's kind of been confirmed. And it's Ned's Spider-Man tracker saying that Spider-Man is in space, but he's so far away he could be in a different universe. I've also heard, because I didn't ask him this, and I should have asked him the whole... I know it's Jean Grey, by the way. It is Jean Grey. Sadie Sink is Jean Grey, right? That's confirmed. So But we know at the end of the last Spider-Man movie, I might as well say it, they showed that a tiny part of the symbiote being left behind. Now, in the comics of Secret Wars, because we know he's not in Doomsday, right? But in the comics of Secret Wars, which is a film that's going to follow up, Spider-Man does turn up having been killed, right? In the black suit infected with Venom. So he's in the black suit, so he has the symbiote in him from in Secret Wars, if I remember rightly, because I've got the Secret Wars comic book.
I think you misremember. Maybe he died and came back, but I'm sure he goes into a lab and makes the costume with the Fantastic Four, because there's a Deadpool joke in there, because he uses the symbiote to make the suit with. Yeah. But it tries to bond to Deadpool, and that's why Venom's crazy. That's the joke. But I'm sure I've seen it in the comics where he's like laying down and the black suit's kind of going across him. Alien costume. That's why it's called the alien costume. Oh Christ. Even though it's not my favorite way of getting Venom, I prefer the way it comes from space and then bonds to people, and then so yeah. But if it's Venom, it explains why he's getting aggressive. Yeah, because the Venom symbiote fucks with your brain chemistry, and it makes you aggressive, and that's one of the reasons he likes chocolate, because it keeps his keeps him from being so aggressive.
I mean, he said he died, right? And I mean, I saw Tom Holland interviewed the other day, and he says it's not until the last moment of the film that you understand why it's called A Brand New Day. Now, I didn't ask him if Miles Morales is in it, and I did say, is Miles Morales in it, but I don't think he understood me because his English isn't that great. He said he really enjoyed it. He said it's a good film. I said, look, I am like, a massive Spider-Man fan. But it's I'm just saw Biff's comment. Don't talk to me about that. But
don't talk to my wife about it either. Just as a tip in the chat.
If I'm reading this correct, Venom, it is the Venom symbiote in him, and that's what saves him. Because he doesn't die in the comics. Venom saves him. The symbiote saves him effectively, but he looks like he's dead. I think this movie ends with him, but then the Ned scene of going, "Where's Spider-Man?" So they don't know. So this is all conjecture at the moment. Except he did say he died, but I'm not entirely sure I believe him, and I'm not sure it translated that he understood what I was asking. So I'm gonna try and pick his brains. Should have asked him. I'm seeing him on Tuesday. I'll pick his brains and I'll message you. But he's seen it. And I know that's true because there's a massive. They're giving away all those. I got, like, when we joined, I got a shoe bag with Spider-Man on it. It was like the coolest gym in the world. And I'm trying to. The other reason I keep going is to get enough points because they've got a Spider-Man gym bag and I want it.
All the things. All the things.
But you see, I mean, if they kill him, right? Then they have to introduce Miles Morales, because Sony's already said they want Spider-Man films every 2 years, right? This is a trilogy. This is the start of a trilogy. So either Miles Morales is in this film. I still think your idea of the Shadow King is not entirely out of the realms of impossibility, because I think
that's the bad guy.
I think Venom might turn up towards the end, but we will see in 2 weeks' time, and I am really fucking excited to see it. He enjoyed it. And the gym, like, this week is pumping it up, like, so every sort of 4 things you get the Spider-Man music. It's like, yeah, I know, it's on all the fucking gym machines. Like, on all the screens, it's Spider-Man. It's like, this is a cool gym. And I mean, it's a loose tie-in, but it works for me.
I think that certain bits inside that trailer have been modified so you don't see the suit. I think he has got the Venom costume. I really do think he's got the Venom costume, and I think that's what
I'll
because
ask
they always do this thing, yeah. And it's the bit where I'm going to call it the Shadow King because I think it's the Shadow King. I hope it's the Shadow King and not the fucking Persuader because that'd be shit. The Shadow King's a much better villain, and it fits in with them if they're bringing mutants in too at the same time too. Especially with Jean Grey, Shadow King loves a psychic, can't help but gravitate towards a psychic, yeah. And I think it's Jean Grey's kid that they go after in Legion. I'm sure I can't. My brain's a little fuzzy on that, which would be good.
This is meant to launch the X-Men world. And if it is true that the end scene is Ned going, Spider-Man, that tends to indicate that he's still around, in some form or another, and he is meant to be in Secret Wars. So, I mean, I heard the rumor like months ago that he dies at the end, and then we'll have to wait until Secret Wars because that's what happens in the comics. He comes back in Secret Wars, with the Venom symbiote. So, I mean, a lot of people are saying this because it's straight out of the comics. So,
plus, if it's the Venom symbiote, it's technically from another universe. So being drawn into a multiversal thing, it kind of makes a bit more sense, and it would be his way in. And it would be the only one that remember because Tom Holland said there's only one person who remembers who Peter Parker is, and Venom knew who he was, and he was in a different fucking universe when he saw him on screen. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think the bad guy is the Shadow King, and I think the Hand unleashed the Shadow King, thinking it might give them.
If you're right, that will be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of down with that. But we will see.
I think Martin Lee would have probably worked better. Miss Negative.
Yeah, but they could still do him in the next one. But I mean, I still think Miles Morales is going to turn up at some point, even if he doesn't in this film. I think he is going to turn up at some point. But I didn't ask him. I didn't have enough time to ask him because he didn't tell me till right at the end of the session.
By the way, I've seen Spider-Man. It was really
good.
It's
like I told you I was a Spider-Man. You fucking should have led with that at the beginning. It's like when I joined the gym, I got excited by a Spider-Man shoebox. So yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
let's move on to our next story.
Wow.
Production is officially underway on Lord of the Rings: Hunt for Gollum, and Middle-earth has itself a new Aragon. Andy Serkis says filming has begun in New Zealand with Jamie Dornan replacing Viggo Mortensen as the future King of Gondor. Serkis already praised Dornan's performance, but recasting one of the most iconic characters from Peter Jackson trilogy is going to be a brutal test because audience aren't merely attached to Aragon. They're attached to the specificity fucking Viggo Mortensen as Aragon. I kind of agree with this. Viggo Mortensen, if you hear the story behind how he got hired, do you hear the story about how Viggo Mortensen got hired?
Yeah, he wasn't meant to be in the role.
There was supposed to be someone else. It's like, are you going to ride a horse? No, I'm not going to ride a horse. Are you going to learn a sword fight? No, I'm not going to learn a sword fight. Are you going to do this? I'm not going to do this. And then they went, maybe we should find someone else. So Viggo Mortensen had been one of these guys who'd always been like side company characters rather than a lead character. So they hired him, and he went, "Are you going to ride a horse?" He goes, "I already know how to ride a horse." So, do you do sword play? Because I know a bit of sword play, but I think I can do better. I also hunt. He's like, okay, all right, cool. Because I'm a very big outdoorsman. Okay, because and I've read the books loads. Oh, okay, yeah. So it was really good, and the sword choreographer turned around and said he may be the best swordsman that he's ever trained or had any interaction with on screen. There's a story about how he didn't want to be traveling up and down from filming at one location, so he'd set up a camp alongside what's his Rhys Davies they spent the time out there fishing and drinking and whatnot, and had a whale of a time, and it was much better than having to drive back and up and down this hill. And everyone, I don't think anyone has said anything bad about him ever.
Yeah. I think his performance as Aragorn is perfect. He is gentile where he needs to be, and you need a certain type, because he was one of the last of the but basically the islanders that you see. My brain's gone.
Numenorians.
Yes, thank you, Numenorians. And was blessed with additional life. There was certain elven qualities so his performance is gentle and soft in places, and he's a badass when he needs to be, and he does both really, really fucking well. I mean, he is one of the Lord of the Rings films I hold a very special place in my heart, because I think they're as near as damn it perfect. Liv Tyler's extended part, but she works, and and they had to do that for the film. You had to have that kind of love interest because film, and it works. It's believable, and he's great. I genuinely don't think you can recast him. I think this is a cash-in movie. That being said, and I led with this story because this is the thing. There have been numerous stories carried on the left-wing rags of Andy Serkis defends a cast because it's an all-white cast, right? So of course these idiot left-wings there, and it's like, look, if you know anything about fucking Tolkien, right? There are diversities in there in the worlds of men and elves. There are dark-skinned elves in Tolkienism, but this story is around the hunt for Gollum and Mordor, right? And predominantly you are going to get no men in this. It's going to be around you might get some elves, but it's elves that we already know that so Rivendell elves are all pale-skinned elves. There's no tree elves in this. So yes, it's a white cast, and it was written at a time when that was. But Tolkien was still quite inclusive, because the world of men, right, did have different races, which you see in Lord of the Rings, by the way.
Can I just pull one of their own cards? And the card is cultural fucking appropriation. Yeah, don't appropriate my fucking culture. Tolkien wrote this because our history, when it came to like stories of old, were pretty much destroyed by the Normans. We got probably Robin Hood and King Arthur. And King Arthur, I think technically is French. I don't like that, and I'm sure if you trace it back, it probably originated from France. So the idea of this was to redress the balance and give us back some mythology of sorts, like the Greeks have, and the Romans, and like kind of the Chinese, and everyone else has got. And we hear about things like Moana's, like kind of it's really important that we respect their culture and whatnot. Do the same for us. That's it. That's it.
I agree with that, but it's not even that. It's the ludicrous side of this. He has got nothing to defend, by the way. Not every single film has to be diverse, and if this was a film with a predominantly black cast, no one would say anything. But that's not even that. It's not even that argument. Tolkien's the where the story's set, it's it's supposedly there isn't a lot of fucking original text around this, but the source material, and in this particular part of Middle Earth at this particular time, men are not involved, and elves are often pale skinned, right? And the hobbits actually, the Hobbits again, were set like quaint little English village. That's what they were meant to be. And at the time that this was written, quaint little English village was predominantly white. So therefore, the Shire is Middle England, right? And
it's Gloucestershire,
yeah,
Shropshire, something else with shire at the end of it, Cheshire.
And so it doesn't need to be a diverse cast. And I will point out that Lord of the Rings did, when men came into it, showed diversity because that was in the text, the original text. When you see
Keith, it's not really worth putting this fucking point across. Yeah, it's really obvious. Yeah, when they talk about diversity, they're not talking about diversity. We've had this conversation before. They're just talking about taking away something. Yeah, they are deeply fucking racist. They are deeply bigoted. Yeah, they do not care for anything unless it is against what the current hegemony, or whatever you want to call it, is. Yeah, these people are disgusting. They have blackened souls. Yeah, that's how bad they are as individuals. Yeah, they want nothing more than to tear down what has been built. They should be expelled from society, as far as I'm concerned. We should have an island, and we should put them on the island. Yeah, and then eventually they'll figure it fucking out.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that.
Because we can sit there, we can go back and forth, but the truth of the matter is, it's got nothing to do.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to defend it.
With
he shouldn't have.
No,
he
shouldn't. He should just keep his fucking trap shut and just go. He should just do. I can't remember who else. There was a couple of people. I think it was the guy. Oh, he's got a brother who was in Sherlock. He played one of the first bad guy in Stephen Strange. Hannibal Lecter. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his brother's name either. Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, Mads. Yeah.
And someone asked him about diversity because that's a stupid question. That was just his response. That's a stupid question. And you know what? That's the perfect fucking response. That's a stupid question. Yeah, because it's got nothing to do with that. Yeah, and swapping out characters for others and putting so we say shit allegories and expensive films. We'll save this one for later. Shit allegories and expensive films makes your film shit. Full stop. Yeah. The sea people are coming. The sea people are coming. Oh, the fucking irony if they knew what happens next in Greek and Roman fucking history. But hey, you know what they say? Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
My name is Jeff.
FX's Far Cry series has added Steve Buscemi to the cast. Already includes Rob Mack and Lizzie Kaplan. Nobody has revealed who Buscemi is playing, but let's be honest. When you cast Steve Buscemi in Far Cry, audiences are going to immediately assume he's a deranged villain or a deeply suspicious ally. With some kind of lunatic living in a bunker surrounded by explosives. More importantly, the show is not directly adapting one particular game. Noah Hawley is treating Far Cry as an anthology about supposedly civilization dropping into extreme situations and gradually losing their minds. This sounds considerably more promising than a simple filming somebody clearly and in the outpost for 8 episodes. No. Why no? Source material, no. You've got enough. There is source material there. Yeah. Far Cry, yeah, is more closely associated with Heart of Darkness than anything else. Yeah. If you chop off the first one, the other ones are pretty much into the Heart of Darkness. Yeah. It's about someone who goes into some crazy fucking place and fucking loses it. Yeah. Right. It's about in the second game, you're a mercenary. You're out there to kill. It's not Kurtz, but I'm going to call him Kurtz. Yeah. Out there to kill Kurtz. And after a while of being out there and witnessing everything going on there, you understand why Kurtz is like he fucking is. Yeah. And you've got a choice to join him or not join him. And you find that some of your allies that you thought were friends have joined him. In the third game, you, are like this fucking snot-nosed extreme sports fan, no fucking military training. You turn into a murderous psychopath who gets to the end and decides, I don't know if I'm going to stab my friends through the heart. Yeah, you got that. Far Cry 4. You're in a part of Montana that's separated out from everything else. Yeah, and you've got this weird fucking cult. Yeah, and this weird fucking cult somehow looks like they've got some kind of nuclear weapons. And when you get to the end and you find out nukes are going off, and the reason they've got all these fucking bunkers is they're trying to survive, you go, oh, okay. And then it's like the things with the drugs and this, that, and the other, and it's that's what it is, yeah. And the reason I'm probably going off about this more is because Noah Hawley fucked up Alien Earth. Yeah, I did like. There were bits that I liked about it. The ideas were, but the execution was so fucking poor. The rule of a creature feature is you barely see the fucking creature. Yeah. The rule is if you're going to show something, you've got to fucking follow through. Yeah. If you sit there and say this eyeball alien hijacks someone and it might talk, you're going to have to do it. That might be the fucking last scene. I think you and I should have a conversation. Oh shit. Yeah. Something along those lines. So if it was me and this was Far Cry 3, Steve Buscemi is the mad, drug-addled, mushroom-taking guy who lives on the hill who rescues one of your friends. Yeah? Obvious fucking casting. Given the fact it's Noah Hawley and the fact that there's a clear mandate that they're not going to be following these things, they're not going to be, respecting the source material, Steve Buscemi could be the lead character. I can't wait seeing him cutting his way through things, turning from mild-mannered fucking accountant in a plane crash to murderous mercenary. Yeah, but yeah, sorry.
But you never actually see the mercenary, the person you're playing. You never see him. That's always the.
Oh, you do. You do see both of them. You do see. Well, you see. Rook is a bit difficult in 4, and you do see Matey from. Sorry, 5. And 4, you get to see. Can't remember his name now. The Indian. Well, he's not the Indian. He's from like somewhere Nepal. Kid, and you do get to see Jason Brody. Yeah, and there's a great one where you get to play. I think there's an add-on where you get to play Vass, and you have to fight Jason Brody. Brody. Anyway, long and the short of it is, I haven't got much hope. I'll probably watch the first 3 episodes, and then it's not Aliens or Terminator or Predator, so it's not going to get.
I mean, I know Alien Earth is coming back for a season 2.
Filmed in the UK this time.
Sorry?
Filmed in the UK this time.
Yeah, it's not filmed here, from what I know.
Whatever tax breaks they got, they ain't got now. It's annoying because the outside looked fucking brilliant.
Well, it's here. I mean, the alien going through the temple in the cave, that was epic. And it's made that place quite popular for people to go and visit. I mean, I've been there. It's a bit of a slog to get to, because you either have to climb up a mountain or get a boat around, and even then you've still got a bit of a climb to get to. I mean, it's an amazing place, although it stinks because of all the batshit in there. But it's an amazing thing. But the alien in that made it a whole different fucking thing. But yeah, I believe it is shot in the UK. Funny, I think it's shot right next to you over at Shepperton, I believe.
Pop over there and say, guys, can I
nick the alien?
See what's going on? I've just realised you're wearing the same coloured t-shirt as me, you dick.
I know this is blue. This is blue. It's not black. It's navy. Technically, I get dressed before you, so it's your cycling to me, not the other way around. Well, that being, yeah. I will say I really enjoyed Steve Buscemi in Wednesday. I thought he was great in Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like Steve Buscemi. I think I did know there was going to be a Far Cry series, but I forgot it, so I included that. But I get what you're saying. I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, and there's some good storyline bits in there too, and. You needed to hire Michael Mando to start with, I think. And it should just been one season of one guy. Starts off, he's pretty fucking green behind the ears. By the end of it, he's a fucking murderer. And he's quite happy murdering people. Yeah, because you forget that. Yeah, that when you play these games, you start murdering, and you're going through the. It's like in the Last of Us, the game. I don't know if they did in the TV series because I didn't want to watch fucking Pedro Pascal. There's a bit in there where you and the girl get trapped in a town just outside, I think, Chicago, and you murder like 40 people. Yeah. And then Joel gets injured, and then you spend some time out in the winter area, and one of the guys comes along, turns around, goes, "Yeah," goes, "So we've been tracking someone." "Oh right," goes, "Yeah, it's a man and a girl." Goes, "They murdered a lot of our friends, and it made you feel consequences for what you did," and that was great. I love that. And then the same with Far Cry, where it's like kind of you're murdering all these people, and it's like, well, what's the difference between murdering your friends? And you ask the question right at the end, and you have to do it. But there is a character that runs through it, the CIA guy. Yeah, I can't remember his name now. I think we've played it and we've helped the CIA guy out. Apart from when you're not murdering elephants, running across fucking landmines,
or falling off the back of helicopters.
or falling down. Or as we're trying to sneak in the top of a temple, you fall into the temple. Because I'm looking down. Okay, I can see about 6 of them. What can you see? Ah! All of them. I can see all of them. I think that's sneaking as a tactic. I know that shallow people all go on about getting the bases and stuff, but Far Cry 4, you had Pagan Min, who was a fantastic character, yeah, and then you had the 2 revolutionaries who were fighting Pagan Min, but they were fighting to their own agenda. Both bad, but it's. I don't know. I don't know when it comes to these Hollywood things. It kind of pisses me off. But on that note, I think it's time for our next story. I have. Oh, yes, please.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
I just love the fucking build-up in that. George Lucas has managed to annoy 2 completely different sections of Hollywood in the same interview. Firstly, he attacked test screening and focus groups, arguing that audiences do not actually know what they want and that studios have become far too frightened of upsetting fans. I'll argue that one. Then he went into the opposite direction on artificial intelligence, declaring that AI will make filmmaking easier, comparing people's resistance to it as somebody who should be sticking with horses instead of cars. It's very George Lucas argument. Trust the filmmakers, ignore the focus group, use a piece of technology every time you can get your hands on it. That is totally George Lucas. I can completely believe that he said that. There was something I think I read, I don't know if it was this one, where he said that the AI tools would put filmmaking in the hands of normal people, which means you'd get more filmmakers and get more opportunities to make things. But at the same time, too, he's watched all his stuff just get shat on a great distance. So if he's a bit jaded towards the Hollywood system, yeah.
I mean, you could argue that all this fucking placating and, having to have diversity in it is because, everybody's in California thinks the rest of the world is like that, and they're doing that. And by doing that, they're so scared of upsetting people. I think that is an argument. I think that was George Lucas basically making an anti-woke argument there, without saying it, because you can't just say that in Hollywood. You get, you become a pariah. Not that he gives a shit. He's got enough money. Yeah, he does have fuck you money, but
he has fuck you money.
But the audience doesn't always know what they want. In some cases, they do. But we've often discussed this before. They go, "Oh, subverting fans' expectations." There is subverting expectations. Then there's The Last Jedi. And there's subverting and doing things that fans don't expect but are cool, and then there's taking a shit on previous history, which is what they do, and call it subverting expectations, and it's bullshit. it's egotistical half the time. It's putting my stamp on it. That's what it really was. And we've seen that in we saw that in Star Wars. We've seen that in we've definitely fucking seen that in Doctor Who. And but what he's saying, I partly agree with. I don't think an audience always knows what it wants. And I think there is definitely, Hollywood at the moment is creatively bankrupt. There are not enough original films coming out. There's not enough. They're not doing anything new, really. I think. I mean, Godzilla -1 sounds like it wasn't a new thing, but it was really, because I still talk about that film to a lot of people because it's like, it's not a Godzilla film, and they look at me and it's like, it's not a fucking Godzilla film. It's called Godzilla -1, but it ain't a fucking Godzilla film. It's not about Godzilla. And that is a subverting an expectation, and that's a good thing, because it's a fucking amazing film, right? And audience go in there thinking they're going to get a Godzilla film, and they get something which I think is way, way better in many ways. And I'm hoping that -0 kind of lives up to that, but I don't think it will.
No, that's really difficult to live up to. Yeah.
So, I mean, what he's saying is not entirely wrong. And we are living in an era where we're just trying to we're living in a sequels and reboots era and we're too scared to do something. And look, reboots are not always wrong, right? There are certain things, Stargate, that people want. Yeah, listening, Amazon, which they might be, by the way. We'll know next week, hopefully. There are certain things that fans want, and you should give them. Stargate, Legacy, Star Trek Legacy, two to come to mind. But you don't always need to do that. But Hollywood say that's what they're doing, but it's bullshit. It's just bullshit, And Hollywood are fucked, and I think that's what he's saying. They're running fucking frightened of AI at the moment, and
rightfully so. It's made memes so much better. It really has. The quality memes now that you get in comparison to the what was it, the crab with laser eyes saying silence brand. Yeah. It's a lot more. There's a lot more there.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, I mean, I don't entirely disagree with him. I don't think fans always know what they want. I think there's a middle ground. I think Hollywood doesn't know what fans want, but at the same time, Hollywood doesn't know what to make at the moment. And
I think I'm going to be honest with you. I think Hollywood knows exactly what fans want, but I think that they are. How can I put it? They're too up their own fucking asses to realise that
they don't
we ain't
like
buying
fans.
what you're selling.
They don't like fandom. I mean, the whole. The one thing I will say about fandom at the moment is, the visceral response to Amazon cancelling Stargate has been a pleasure to watch, because I mean, I might have got slightly colourful on this podcast about it because it genuinely made me very fucking angry, and I think it was the final nail in a very long coffin of nails, and I lost it. But it would appear that I'm not the only one that feels this way. And the sheer response to this has been amazing. Even if it doesn't get saved, right? The response to this gives me some hope. Fandom can be a good thing. Fandom can be a fucking great thing, actually. And, Hollywood has made some big mistakes, and I still think Amazon made a mistake in cancelling Stargate.
I think they should have done the thing where you make a pilot and see what people thought. That's it. Make the pilot. See what they think. It's they like it. Then we make it. There, problem done. He talks about fucking focus groups there. There was no fucking focus group there. Yeah, that could have been the argument. Because it's like, hey, you've got the original creators, the ones who made it successful. Yeah, the ones who are brought in, the ones who are responsible for all those reruns that you've got on your service. Yeah, you should listen to them. You should really listen to them because if you're not going to listen to them, you're not interested in Stargate. You're just interested in hollowing out the brand and poking in dog shit to it.
If the rumors are to be believed, I mean, the interesting thing is like the what's his face thing has gone way over 100,000, and bearing in mind that they made Strange New Worlds with just over 60,000, and don't get me wrong, Strange New Worlds sucks, but they made it, and the response to this has felt much bigger. It's everywhere. I mean, every fucking time you see a Prime video come out, it doesn't matter if it's Prime US, Prime UK. Some fuckers put hashtag save Stargate on there, and if they haven't, I do it. Because fuck you, Amazon. But we might get to find out next week. I mean, I believe the rumor about Netflix, by the way, because what if it's to be believed, because Netflix have got SG1, and apparently it's doing really fucking well on Netflix, and that's why they were interested in doing it. I'm personally hoping that either Amazon agree that look, we fucked up, we're going to make at least one season and commit to a season, or let fucking Netflix do it, because Netflix want it. And you can say, Netflix have a habit of doing things like they saved Lucifer, and those last few seasons of Lucifer were pretty good. So, anyway, I kind of agree with George Lucas. But we should move on because we've got to talk about the Odyssey, and I think we're going to get into that one.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
All right, Gold Member. Don't play the laughing boy. There are only two things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch.
What?
The BBC's new Director General says that the broadcaster is working hard on the future of Doctor Who and insists the programme will regenerate again. That sounds reassuring, but let's not pretend it's a proper announcement. There is no new showrunner, no production company, no returning leads, no transmission date, no guarantee that the next version will resemble the series that we have just been watching. What the BBC has confirmed is that Doctor Who is being put out for competitive tender, giving another production opportunity to take control after Russell T Davies and Bad Wolf's rightful departure. So Doctor Who is not dead, but currently a program without a visible creative team, production timetable, or a doctor. I think that we should put a bid in for it, Keith. Seriously,
if I had the money,
seriously.
I would. We do a better job.
No, you don't. No, we don't get the money. We go to someone like Sony, or we go to, I don't know, maybe even Amazon. Yeah, and say, look, we want to do this thingy, but we need to be able to have the money and production stuff. So we want you to give us a production thing, and we'll become the creative leads on it. Yeah, and the first thing I'm going to do is have whoever the new Doctor is, kicking out someone who looks like Ncuti Gatwa and Jodie Whittaker out the TARDIS into a black hole. Just see the arse of it, and just says, it's quite enough of that shit. We've got adventuring to get on with. So, Martin Britton.
I think I'm going to defend Ncuti Gatwa slightly in the fact that that my biggest problem with Doctor Who for the last few years has not necessarily been the people that have played the Doctor. It is the writing, and that is the biggest, the biggest problem with it. I think both Jodie Whittaker and Ncuti Gatwa are actually quite good actors in their own right. I think Ncuti is rather streamlined in what he can play, shall we say. But he's, before he became the Doctor, he was likable on screen. and I could say the same about uh Jodie Whittaker. And I mean, I saw her in something the other day because my wife started watching that. You know, what's his face? Roy Kent, Jennifer Lopez love romance comedy thing. Actually, it was quite funny because I like the guy that plays Roy Kent, and he is quite
Is
funny
this
on
the
screen.
one where he's in the office and he turns
Yeah.
around and he goes, cunt? And
Yes.
they pull him to one side because you can't use that. And you cannot
Yes.
use that in the office.
But Jodie Whittaker plays his psycho sister. And she's kind of funny. She's very Manchester. Which, you know, you might as well get used to that now because we're all northern from tomorrow. If you know what I mean, you understand. But yeah, you can't diss the north. No more northern jokes after tomorrow because, you know, we're run by the north. Viva the north. But I mean, look, it was Russell T Davies that fucked up. It was Disney not really paying enough fucking attention. And again, until they fucking fire Piers Wagner at the BBC, and it's not just Piers Wagner, there was a number of fucking people at the BBC that have to fucking go, right? I don't give a shit what he says because it ain't going to work. Unless it is sold outright and the BBC has fuck all to do with it. But then there's no other British television company that's going to take it on. And I don't want an American company to have sole control of it. No offense, America. This is British. This is like institutionally British. And I remember, you know, 20 years ago, at one point, and it was a serious conversation, Will Smith should play the Doctor. Fuck off. I like you, Will, but fuck off. You know, I remember that, right? And the show has to stay British, right? Or it doesn't work. And the BBC can't touch this because it isn't just Russell T Davies, right? He was fired, by the way, but it isn't just him. He was allowed to do this, right? He works for bosses. Those bosses signed off on this, and none of them are gone. None of them have been fired, right? And I think one of those bosses, Piers Wagner, needs to go because the only fucking decent drama that's been on the BBC in years was Ludwig. It's the only one. And the BBC used to make quality dramas all the time. And it's since this wanker has taken over. You can see it, right? And he is an absolute fucking alt-left. And I'm going to use those words alt-left because they love to use the words alt-right. And there is such a thing as the alt-left as well. And you're equally as bad. So, and I think what the Piers Wagner's got to go. And so I leave Doctor Who alone. You've already stabbed it 3 times, kicked it, and then taken a piss on it, and then rubbed salt into the wound, right? Leave it for now. Let us have, you know, sort of look back when it was fucking good. Because it ain't good anymore. And hasn't been for a very long time. And it did start in the Moffat era. I know what you said. I know you went to the convention, but it did fucking start in the Moffat era.
Yeah,
That
and he
last season
complained
of
that
Doctor-
it started too.
And then he's produced 2 further fucking dramas for the BBC that have been equally, if not worse, and woke. So and the episodes that he wrote in the Shooty Gap were, you know, although one of them could have been interesting if it was a different Doctor. But no. You know, you can tell us that, the BBC, but you killed it a long time ago. You killed it as soon as you let Trick. I mean, you killed it with making, you know, Jodie Whittaker, and you killed it then. But then the what's its face child, and that was just taking a piss all over it, and there was absolutely no fucking thing to do that. That wasn't subverting fan expectation. That was ego, and it was pure fucking ego, right? It was pure fucking ego. And then the 60th celebration was not a celebration of the show. It was a celebration of Russell T Davies, and you let that happen, right? And it's so obvious, right? It you know, there was no multi-doctor arc. There wasn't like that like you got in the 50th, which was an actual celebration of Doctor Who. It wasn't Stephen Moffat's ego on show. It was a celebration of a show that had been on for 50 years. Whereas the 60th was purely Russell T Davies. Me. Aren't I brilliant? I'm super. Thanks for asking. You know, I mean, you couldn't be more that character. I'm going to get on. I'm going to go start ranting, so I'm going to stop before I blow my mic. But no, let it. Give it a few years. Let all these wankers at the BBC fuck off and then bring it back.
Okay, here's my response.
How am I wrong? How am I wrong? I'm not wrong. I know you agree with me.
Just no. Just no.
You agree with me?
No to the rant. I come back. I refer you back to my thingy. It's not about diversity. It's not about this, that, and the other. It's just about taking stuff away. They're interested in the destruction of what we hold dear, and the reason is they want to grind us down, make us feel shit, cause a crisis, and then offer us their solution to said crisis. Yeah. I had a great conversation with about ChatGPT and what makes evil. I'll talk to you about that after because it's an interesting conversation. So, took ages to find your channel. From my wife. Is it Hannah or something?
Hannah Wallington.
Yeah, she's
good in this. Because it's two female leads, you know, you could have the whole danger or something. But actually, I generally believe that she can kick ass because she's a hugely tall, energetic, quite muscular woman. She is slightly Amazonian, and she's kind of hot in this. It's good. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. Spider-Man mistakenly uses the alien machine on Battleworld to fix his tattered costume, unknowingly releasing the symbiote. That's what I remember. Yeah. Apparently, according to Gemini. Gemini's fucking useless. It really is. I've been using it recently because I got it free with because I upped my storage and that. And Venom, Venom does like chocolate and brains. Don't forget that.
Not allowed it, but I love it.
Biff of the Hobbit. I'm sorry about England's World Cup. Not as fucking sorry as I am. I didn't watch any of the games. I'll be honest with you, because I hate watching football. I get too invested in it, it's not good. And we gave the best fucking third place performance you'll see in any World Cup ever. Yeah, it's going to be the most entertaining game that you would ever watch. That should have been a World Cup final.
I did like beating the French. I mean, it might have been farcical, but I did like beating the French. 6-4. Jesus Christ.
Interesting match. Gwen Stacy's the next Spider-Man, says Biffa.
Look,
probably. Don't give them ideas, for fuck's sake. Don't give them ideas.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. If anything, you should spin off Spider-Gwen into its own thing. But I kind of like Spider-Gwen in the cartoon. I do like her character, and actually, I already know who you would cast as her. Perfect casting is the bird in Wednesday. She's fucking perfect as Spider-Gwen. I mean, she would nail that role. But no, that shouldn't replace Spider-Man, and there will be Spider-Man. It's the mass appeal of Spider-Man across the world. That'll be one thing they will never ever get away with. Trust me.
Yeah. There's Chuck. So hi, Chuck.
Mate.
Hang on a second. Hi, Laurie.
Check your WhatsApp. I remembered, Chuck, about that Lego I was talking to you the other day, and I saw a Lego model and I've forgotten what it was. Then I saw it again this morning. I've sent it to you. You're gonna buy it. Even I want to buy it.
Biffa says, I see short hair elves in the hunt for Gollum. I will crush out.
I'm with you, mate.
I think you might get the odd one here and there.
No, I
might
don't
get the odd one. Oh, yeah. And says hello. Long-haired elves. The real type of elves. Apart from the house elves from Harry Potter. Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Finding the channel, yes. Usually it shows me your live podcast straight away, but I actually had to search for it to find it. Oh dear. Not good. Not good. Don't know what happened there. But I think it's time. We've got some trailers to watch.
We do.
I need to press the fucking music and click that. So you sent me one that I'm looking at going, why?
Because there is a story behind it, and it's true. But I think the performance is incredible.
Okay.
Mike.
This is a true story.
And I gotta have faith in myself.
You need to show everyone who you are.
I like this girl, Sylvester.
Sylvester?
That's right, his real name.
It's got a nice ring to it. Sylvester Stallone. It's like Peter Parker.
Are you delusional? You don't got the looks to be a movie star. Not to mention, you talk like you got rocks in your mouth.
Yeah, I know I don't look like Einstein, but I got a brain. The only way for me to get to show people is me to have to write a script for myself.
Yeah, so do that. Write a script. And give yourself the best part. There's something big here.
You wrote this in 3.5 days.
This is freaking good.
Touch someone like Chuck Bronson, or we could do Eastwood.
Guys, I play Rocky.
I have no idea what that means.
So the writer wants to be in it as the lead. No, absolutely not. Throw some money at him. 25K.
No.
Raise the offer. Try 75. You're parking cars, for Christ's sake. Sylvester.
No.
175.
Go to 200.
No?
I'm not giving this up. Not for $1 million. Not for 10. Hey.
All right, now if you do this,
Comes with some strings.
if you ever fall one day behind schedule,
The meat's frozen solid.
They're gonna kick you to the curb.
You broke your hand.
and they can replace you with a real actor.
I don't even know what I'm doing is any good.
Just do the best acting of your life and everything will be fine.
How far behind schedule are they?
They're not.
This movie is about having a belief in yourself. It's about going the distance. I put my heart and soul on the page. If I'm not willing to live up to what I wrote, then what's the point? So do you believe in me? Or not? I thought you said you could box.
I lied. Let go of the head! I'm an actor, goddammit. You always lie.
Yeah.
I think
I'm not sure about mate's voice. It keeps taking me out of it. I'm going to be honest with you. I like the story because I know the story. Because I know he wanted to be in it, and yeah.
He looks like Stallone to me, and yeah, I mean, and the reason it's in there, I mean, it's a historic film. We geek out about film. The guy that was his trainer in the film was the Penguin in Batman '66. Did you know that?
Yeah, he also did the PSA announcement for the troops in America. If you ever watched that video, where he's got the old lady on the train, and then she's talking to the black soldier, and she goes, "I'm from Birmingham too," and it's like, "You should come around for tea," and it's just like kind of so quaint and polite. And it's like, I don't know what mild is.
I saw that train. I thought, I mean, I knew the story of Rocky, and I knew that's how he came around. But I mean, we like Sylvester Stallone on this. I mean, you know, we watch what's his fake Tulsa King, and we love that. And part of that is because he's in it. You know, he wasn't your typical actor, but I fucking love him in that. I love the Rocky films, if I'm being honest. You know, they are iconic fucking films, and they are really part of the history of cinema. And yeah, the trailer that was a good trailer. It made me want to go and see the fucking film in the cinema, I might point out. So I'm going to go and see that. Just saying.
Okay. I got one.
I know.
I saw this and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Everything changes. You know, one day you're a cat. Just take a little taste for daddy. Come on, sweetheart. Or a king. Next day you're just ashes in a box. How long would you say she has?
Between 2 weeks, 5 minutes.
Mr. Rockwell, my name is Sandy Clarkson.
Yeah, Sandy. How you been, buddy? You're the man with the 5-foot crack. Now, glacier over there in Greenland, it shifts 5 feet. Now, this desk in front of me is bigger than 5 feet.
Mr. Rockwell...
My dick is a tenth of that size. What do you want me to shut down a billion-dollar platform over something that's 10 times the size of my dick?
Oh, I don't believe you understand what's happening, sir.
What did you just say?
Sorry, sir.
Well, I know perfectly well what's going on there, because I'm paying for the whole thing. I'm paying for your fucking 90% Hungarian goose down winter jacket. I'm paying your salary. You want to shut her down?
Well,
say it!
Mr. President, we're utterly unprotected against a disaster of this
He
magnitude.
looks really old
What's
in
our
this.
worst case scenario?
Yeah.
$18 trillion, sir.
Is that all the bad fucking news?
Oh, there's the nuclear waste, too.
Oh, fucking music. La. Sorry, the bloody music. Forgot about that.
Let's fucking go.
You knew, long before the rest of us.
That is why it is your problem. If we can't control the course of nature, at least we can control the narrative.
But it happened.
Mother Nature, she loved the winter.
We're gonna save the world.
All right, fellas, Mother Nature wants to fight.
Is he okay?
Mr. President. Mr. President? Fuck this iceberg, let's dance! Help me shape the story.
They already know the story.
They know the facts. The story has yet to be told. When all else fails, you hit them with the truth. You know, the hard truth. Just bang, bang, bang. Woo! Woo! Burning down the house.
I still don't entirely know what the fuck this movie is about.
It's about an oil tycoon who tries drilling a glacier or something in Greenland, and it breaks off and heads to Norway, and it will destroy Norway if they're not careful. So they decide to go to war with an iceberg.
Okay, I mean, what's his face looks fucking. I mean, he's channeling what's his face from what was the comedy?
Tropic Thunder.
Yes. And he was brilliant in that as well. Tom Cruise, like you've never seen him, but when I saw it, you know, and he's like, "You want to stop something 10 times the size of my dick?" Brilliant line.
Yeah,
and that's in the trailer.
I'm going to wait for the next trailer and see. I might see that. If there's nothing on, I will probably go and watch that. Just out of fucking curiosity more than anything else. I'd actually like seeing Tom Cruise being not Tom Cruise, if that makes any sense. When you see him and he's not being Tom Cruise, he's much more entertaining.
Yes.
I think he, you know...
his part in Tropic Thunder was fucking brilliant. And he can do other parts.
I do find it amusing when you're like kind of in Tropic Thunder. It's like kind of, I swear to that God, that's fucking Tom Cruise. That is. As you're watching him and you listen to the voice and you're just like, but yeah. Apparently the dance was all him. That was the reason he did it, to have the dance in the film. He dances as Len Grossman. Let's talk about the Silo before we go on to the Odyssey, because I think we're going to be a while talking about the Odyssey. So. Silo. Slow. I think I fell asleep at one point.
Slightly less so than the episode the week before. More happened in this. We found Lucas Carl. I don't know what's going on because they've changed Lucas Kyle's whole story from the book, so I have no idea. You know, by this point in the book, Lucas Kyle shacked up with Juliet. She doesn't have the memory loss that, you know, she has, like, you know, in this. And the head of IT was Lucas Kyle in the book.
Yeah.
In this, obviously, we have this, I mean, it's still going to end up in the same place. It still bugs me. It still bugs me that he's not called Donald, and the reason they didn't call him that was purely because of the president of the United States, and that's just fucking childish and stupid.
It was probably named after Donald fucking Rumsfeld. I said this last week.
Oh yeah, no, he was. I at least don't. I mean, the book was written before Donald Trump was even a fucking, you know. It's dumb that they renamed him, you know. So, yeah, it's just stupid. But I thought this episode was had more pace than the previous episode. The flashbacks were slightly more interesting. Again.
Oh yeah, right. Hold on a fucking moment, because they did something in the flashback that really knocked me. Yeah. We've got the radio transmission. Oh, here's the radio transmission. Okay, I listened to the radio transmission. You can't listen to the radio transmission. I'm going to listen to the radio transmission. No, you don't want to listen to the radio. I'm going to listen to the radio transmission. Do we get to hear the radio transmission? No, we fucking don't. Seriously, you built it up and you failed to release it. That is not good storytelling. Don't do it if you're not going to build it up. You don't build up the tension and release it. If it's like it happens and then he's sitting in the car and you can hear him replaying it in his head and he's like zoned out because he's thinking about it over and over again, that makes sense. But you had the prime opportunity. You literally built it up. You built that up and then you didn't release that tension. Yeah, and that's the thing. The woman who plays the head of IT is not a good actress.
No, she's not. Yeah. She's really annoying.
And it's annoying because when she gets put next to, I think he's a rapper called Common or whatever his name is, it shows a lot. Mm-hmm. He's not a great actor, but he's a good actor. Yeah. And it shows when she's next to him, and it's like the casting was not great for that. But you know, people do the best they can at the thing. But
they just radically changed a lot. Like the love interest was the daughter of the senator in the book. The sister does not have like the problems that she does in this, and they're just changing it. They're fucking with it so much, and they are definitely pushing female characters in it, and that I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm just so fucking sick and tired of it. But that being said, the pacing was better in this episode. And admittedly, I do find the journalist's story slightly more interesting in the fact, you know, who's the sinister guy? Where does he come into it? Because again, none of that was in the thing. So who is the sinister guy? But we're now 3 episodes in, and we've only seen the gender swapped senator once, and by this point, we really should be seeing more of them. Because spoiler, he's the one that creates the silos or makes them possible in the book, but I've seen none of that in here. He's the one that designs the certain systems that allow them to last the years that they need to. He helps write the laws, or what do they call it in this? And the whole, the pact. He helps it. So we'll see. We'll see. But this week's episode was better than the one.
Okay. All right. Odyssey.
I don't think it's his worst film. I do not understand the 5-star ratings that it's getting everywhere. It just no one's criticizing this film. It's like, how are you not?
So that's Let's start off with something that Chris Nolan's usually quite strong on. Cinematography. Okay?
Yeah.
So his cinematography on this, there are barely any establishing shots. You get some for Greece, but none anywhere else. Go back and watch it and you'll be like,
no, you're right.
Yeah. So there's no kind of establishing shots. The lighting. The lighting looks like it was filmed off a fucking Margate coast. It's overcast constantly. Yeah?
Yeah.
I get when it's supposed to be overcast, yeah? But the places where it shouldn't be overcast. Yeah? The only bit that looked like Greeks was the last bit where Odysseus, I have to say Odysseus and not Ulysses, is on the island with Calypso. All right? That's the only bit where it looked like it was Greece on his journey. Okay? The next thing, yeah? The castles. Yeah? Those castles, admittedly, they are 4,000 years old. That's fine, yeah? But they weren't at the fucking time. They were brand bloody new, okay? Put some banners on there, tidy it up with some paint, do something to make it look like someone had done it. There's a bit where Anne Hathaway is talking to Tom Holland and they're at the corner of the building, and I'm like, kind of, I would have put a wooden box over that and faked fucking brickwork or done something, yeah? The palaces should be luxurious. They should be colourful. There should be art on the walls. The Greeks were famous for fucking vases, for fuck's sake. Where are the vases?
It was devoid of colour. You're right. It was overstrike. You're right, and it's missing Hans Zimmer.
Oh, the fucking music score is non-existent whatsoever. No fucking no sound score that was stirring or moving or told me what to feel in the moment, along with everything else, and it didn't tally up and it didn't work, and that was fucking disappointing there. Yeah. Then there's just the butchering of the story. The story itself has been butchered to fucking high heaven. Yeah. And when I realized something was fucking stupid of me, yeah, and then when I realized I already knew the story of Odysseus because I learned it as Ulysses as a kid, not Odysseus because it was, I think it was 88, 87 when I was looking at it as a kid, and it was Ulysses at the time, and it was Roman. Yeah, it's the same fucking story because the Romans lifted the wholesale everything they got from the Greeks. Plus, it was a translation. I think it had some issue with translation errors and whatnot, and that didn't come about until like the 90s. So, knowing that, it was like kind of okay. So you skip the island of the Lotus Eaters, yeah. That was the first place they stopped, if I remember correctly. And admittedly, it's just going to be them high on fucking drugs, yeah. Absolutely having a fucking whale of time because they are off their tits on whatever those lotuses are giving them, yeah, and having Odysseus or Ulysses, whatever, drag them back to the boat. Then there's the bit of the Cyclops, and it is the inciting incident of the entire story, yeah, and it is pretty much what is the theme of this the Odyssey is, yeah, and it's the hubris, yeah, and Odysseus or Ulysses has to learn not to be such a fucking dick, yeah, not to do that, yeah. In the story, they go up into the thing, they blind the Cyclops. Ulysses says to Thingy, goes, who blinded me? And Ulysses replies, nobody. So the Cyclops, this is the one that's the son of Poseidon, is yelling to all the other Cyclopses, because there were more than one on the fucking island, yeah? Was yelling to all of them, going, nobody's blinded me, nobody's blinded me. And they fucking ignored him, yeah? They ignored him, which was like, it's brilliant, but at the same time too, bit of a fucking dick thing. You have to remember that Odysseus or Ulysses is just come off the back of the treasure and what they won after 10 years, yeah, with a brilliant fucking stroke of genius. All right, gets back to the boat. As he's on the boat, he's sailing away. He is flipping the fucking blinded Cyclops, the bird, going, "It is I, Ulysses, sucker of Troy." But you know, all these things here, blind over the fucking thingy. And because he says his name, but he then prays to Poseidon and says, condemn or curse Ulysses for what he's fucking done with me. And that there was the inciting incident for the whole thing. But because you've got no Roman gods in it whatsoever, Athena's not in it. That's his trauma you're seeing, it's not a thing now, okay? And it's established at the end that it's not a thing now because they do the thing with the head of the statue, which isn't the head of the statue. It's symbolic of fucking Zendaya's head falling down the thing because he felt it was a bit shit. Yeah. Because of that, yeah. There's that. So we've got that there as a problem, yeah. The story is you need to find with the story of kind of like, I keep saying Ulysses. The story of Ulysses and his guys is they go somewhere, yeah, and then they do something fucking stupid, yeah. Every time they go somewhere, they do something stupid, yeah. Helios's cattle on the thingy, yeah, they're starving, yeah, but they have the choice of either starving slowly or a quick death by Helios, yep. But that's not because there's no gods in it. It doesn't fucking work out like that, yeah. And that's an odd thing. And where Hermes doesn't turn up or Mercury doesn't turn up to tell Calypso to let go of
Calypso does it herself.
Yeah, which is I think she had a curse or something on her too. Yeah, and one of the reasons she's living on her own is that she just fall in love with any fucking man that turned up, yeah, and then want to stay with them forever. And that was kind of her thing, and that's why she's actually out on a Jonesy. She came across like she belonged. Charlize Theron came across like she belonged in the story quite well. Tom Holland's character, Telemachus, he even said that he didn't figure out the character until right towards the end. And it actually shows. It shows because he's playing him like a 16-year-old rather than a 20-year-old who's desperate for the throne. The cannibals on the island, why were they ready for battle?
Yeah.
Why were they ready for battle? Why was the kid wearing armor? He's out there playing in the fucking forest. He should have like a toy or.
They did look cool, but I agree with you.
Why were they? That didn't make any fucking sense. And you had that. You had is it Scylla? The thing creature in the wall? That when they go past, they have the choice. They got the sirens, which literally like that, which I'm sure was longer in the story.
Oh, the monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
That looks shit.
Yes. Poor
that looks
CGI.
Shit.
Which
that
is
was
unlike
like,
Nolan.
And it's like kind of okay. There's that. Elliot Page. What the fuck was she? It? What they? Thing? Whatever. Doing in it? Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm going to pose one argument for this. Not that I believe that it's correct, but I will pose one argument for this because I'm waiting for you to say Achilles. Nolan does like to work with actors he's worked with before, right? And he did like whatever, I can't remember what her name was now because I only know her as Elliot Page. Ellen Page. He liked, and she was good in
Inception.
And I just, he might have created this part. The problem you have, and I don't think we'll ever know the truth behind that, right? I can understand the cynical view of this, and I understand the cynical view, right? Because they replaced, but the fact is that, a lot of people say Elliot Page was going to be playing Achilles. He wasn't. He was playing another character, but that character replaces Achilles because it's Achilles that talks to him and
in the underworld.
In the underworld.
Well, several people talk to. There's a lot more. He has a conversation with a fair few. He comes across bloody Sisyphus and the other one who can't drink the water. I can't remember his fucking name. They're both of them like cursed for all eternity. And I know he does Achilles and Agamemnon.
You see, Odysseus was arrogant. And as you said, I'm the sacker of Troy. I'm the one that, did this to you. And that's how he gets cursed.
And that when he returns to Ithaca, he returns as someone with no status, no power, no pride.
Yes.
So he left Troy. All the fucking pride in the world. 10 years, I broke them, yeah?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Agamemnon. I'm not going your way, I'm going my way, yeah? Did that, yeah? Comes back as a beggar. I want to ask you something. How did you feel about the dog? Because the dog was always the saddest bit. And I always remember the dog because the dog's got the same name as a shop here in the UK.
Yeah, I do find that quite difficult, I have to admit. But having had dogs that have... It was kind of well done. I mean, I knew the dog was going to die when he saw him, but it was also the confirmation that he was Odysseus. And it was done in a careful way. But I didn't like seeing the dog suffering. But it did make me, when Robert Pattinson gets fucking stabbed, I was like, fucking yeah. Right, Robert Pattinson was good in this, right? He does play a really fucking nasty bad guy, and you want to see that cunt get fucking stabbed, and he does. And I have to admit, I did like the final action scene when he goes all ape shit on all of them and fucks them all up. I liked that. I thought that was kind of done well, and I did like the bit where Penelope walks away, and you hear that twing like that, and I was like, okay, that's kind of. There are Nolan moments in this film, and and having seen some of his earlier work, I don't think this is his worst film. I do not think it's a 5-star film. I think it's his worst film of the modern Nolan era, and I'm talking like post Batman, right? Because Batman was when everybody really started knowing who Nolan was, right?
Yeah.
Batman was kind of what launched him into the, people saying this is a better film than Tenet. No, actually, the more I watch Tenet, the more I appreciate that film.
Yeah.
And the more I like Tenet, by the way. In fact, Tenet is kind of slowly going up the list of Nolan films, in my opinion. But to give this 5 stars, and I'm seeing so many people give this 5, it is not a 5-star film.
The other thing too is just a quick one. We will talk about that feeling that you get from the Jodie Whittaker era of Doctor Who, where nothing fucking feels like it exists outside that. Yeah,
and that
does it with Troy. Yeah,
yes.
Does it with the island with Cersei. Does it with the Helios's island? Yeah, it does it where it doesn't feel like anything else exists. And I know that in certain places that's supposed to be the case, but fucking Troy, Troy feels like 5 fucking buildings and a staircase.
He came across, right, when he was interviewed by Jon Stewart the other day, right? He came across as really pretentious. And I think I know what he was going for in this film. But it doesn't make. But unless you are a English lit, you've studied English lit in a deep way, you're not going to know what he was going for. But if I had to take a bet, and I haven't seen him interviewed, but I bet when he's interviewed about this, you mentioned it was always grey. It was always slightly stormy, right? Now, the only reason I know this is because this was my essay subject in my English lit GCSE, right? So I know a little bit about this. Every time something fucking bad happens in a Shakespearean play, there is a storm. Hamlet, Macbeth, right? When Macbeth goes to kill the king of Scotland, big fucking storm. Hamlet, big fucking storm, right? So, I am as constant as the Northern Star and Julius Caesar, big fucking storm because he gets stabbed in the back by his best mate, right? Shakespeare used storms to show the anger of the gods, right? And although the gods are not in this, the gods are angry with Odysseus, right? And I bet that's what he was going for. But no one knows
everywhere.
Yes, I know. But
so
you
got Ithaca, who've done nothing.
I agree with you.
Yeah, have done nothing. You get to see Agamemnon's brother. Same again. Yeah.
Okay, so I know the argument. I agree with you, by the way. I didn't like it. But I'm just saying, I think I know what he was thinking. The suitors are all fucking nasty bastards. So
right, hold on a second.
Yeah, but it's too.
Right, hold on a second. After the Cyclops, that's when the skies are supposed to go grey, not before the Cyclops.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think this was a pretentious decision, and I think it was too bad. I don't like it. Right. I'm not saying this was good. It's not. But I think that's what he was going for. But it's overused. It's a bit like fucking J.J. Abrams with his lens flares everywhere, right? The whole film is dark, and it shouldn't be, right? And you said earlier, and I agree with you, the lack of gods makes the film make no fucking sense. Right? Now, Homer's original poem was a bit timey-wimey all over the place. And I bet you, because fucking Nolan's loves the multiple fucking timelines in his films, right? That's what probably attracted him to it. And he thought, because he's kind of like a thespian, I'm a director, the whole Shakespearean fucking angry at the gods thing, which is a theme throughout the whole fucking thing. That's why everything's grey the whole time. I don't agree with it, because Greece does not look like Greece. Ithaca does not look like it. Ithaca was on Crete, for fuck's sake. It's one of the most beautiful fucking islands in the world. Right? And there was none of it. And you're right about the castles. And they're on, and for somebody that shot the entire film on IMAX, I'm not sure why. Because, in Tenet, you have those amazing cinematic shots, like when the fucking ship is going past the fucking power things and then going backwards over the things. That's a fucking magnificent chef's kiss shot, right? That's cinematography. There was none of that. And, what the fuck are they doing going around on Viking boats 2,000 years before the fucking Vikings?
Yeah. That was.
I mean, okay, Agamemnon's armor was kind of cool, right? And it does look really good on the poster. I like the poster with the gold. But
Brian Cox was a better Agamemnon.
I agree with you. We don't see the guy that's playing him.
Leader. Yeah, you
don't. I did kind of like the Cyclops, but again, I agree with you, and there's lines in there. You've angered Poseidon. You've pissed him off. But unless you know that the Cyclops was the son of Poseidon, you don't quite get why he pissed him off, right? And right from the offset, Odysseus is this decent guy, decent guy. And it's Penelope's a complete fucking bitch to her son, right? And yet you don't understand why, because Tom Holland does not play the role of a, mad power-seeking thing, which in the poem he is, right? So the whole film hits points that don't make sense because it has to hit those points, but it doesn't get there the way it should. Respect the source material, Gaff.
Yeah, no, definitely with the respect to source material, and it's just fine. I'll be honest with you, I'm just so fucking disappointed, because you step back from that and it's like you had Travis, whatever his name, the rapper, he was supposed to be Homer as he's standing up on the table with his cane banging it, yeah? Left no impression, didn't get that pushed through. I left because I didn't want to hear a fucking rap, yeah? It just sounded like 90s, the idea sounded like that 90s garbage where people thought they could rap. Yeah, and I'm just I'm not. It's those bits I liked about it and bits I didn't. I did like the last 45 minutes when everything was kind of coming through. And I'll be honest with you, the thing with the axes, I learned the thing of the axes through one of the film companies has got that as their intro, where you got Odysseus shooting the thing through the axes. But the axes are axe heads with they're hollowed out. Yeah. And it was always weird because there's a trick to Odysseus' bow, yeah. When he strings it, he knows this, yeah. It bends better a bit here than it does there, yeah. So you see, he picks it up and it's like, where did it bend? Oh, that's where it bent. So he did the thing and then twangs it, and then takes the shot, which is funny. And again, him coming back as the tramp, or the vagrant, or whatever you want to call it, is him being stripped of all his ego because his ego got him in the place. But that doesn't make any sense in this film.
No,
it's more of a tactical thing, more than anything else.
Well, it's also, I think it's meant to symbolize PTSD, but again, it doesn't really work. I kind of like. I thought the sort of slightly more realistic bit of the Trojan horse was kind of well done.
And
interesting. There are moments in this. I mean, it's definitely a Nolan film, but it's almost like, no, again, it's what I used about the same thing about Vince Gilligan with Pluribus, right? It's almost because it's Vince Gilligan and because this is Nolan, no one has edited him. You know, it's book 5 of Harry Potter syndrome.
Oh,
right.
Oh, hang on. That other thing, that first hour, the editing on that. Oh my god, that was bad.
Yes, I know. But it's because it's Nolan.
You know what? This is the. Hang on a second. Everyone has. It keeps going on about the sound mixing. Yeah, the sound mixing in my cinema, absolutely fine. The editing, garbage. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know why anybody's going on about the sound editing. The sound editing is fine. The music is garbage. The editing is garbage. But again, it's the same thing. It's like, you know, they just because they've made great films and they are great directors or great writers, you know, Vince Gilligan, Nolan, and he is still an interesting director, and I like a lot of his films. This is hubris. The film is hubris. He hasn't been. Hang on, you know, somebody hasn't gone. Hang on, Chris.
Keith, Keith, the fucking irony, a story about one man's fucking hubris and upsetting the gods.
I know.
And Nolan's big thing is his hubris. The fucking irony there.
But you see it. I know, but it's there. You're right, and I agree with you. That's what I was getting at. And you went there, so well done. We think alike. But it's the same with Pluribus. That's hubris as well. And all these people that act like... And it's the same thing. All these critics giving this a 5-star reward. Well, you can't give Chris Nolan a 4-star. It's the same people that go on and tell me about, Pluribus, you're missing the point. Oh, it's got deep meanings. It's for intelligent people. No, it's for retards that think they're clever. That's what Pluribus is for. And this is for fucking critics that think they know a good film when they see one, but haven't got a fucking clue. Right? Because you don't know. The performances are not that fucking great. Anne Hathaway is fucking awful in this film, and she's a good actor. Poor direction. Right? It's a poorly directed film. Nolan is off his game. No wonder he wants to take a fucking 3-year gap, because he fucking knows it. Right? But that being said, as you said right at the beginning, even when Nolan is off his game, he still makes a better fucking film than a lot of people I know. And there are moments in this film I fucking love. Right? And there are. I liked I agree with you. The last 45 minutes, fucking epic.
Yeah. When I was busting for a piss, I'll have you know.
I drank 2 bottles of water.
I was busting for a piss at that point. I was getting good. I need a piss.
But I mean, we could sit here for hours and pull this apart. And there are, even though we as a whole, we're also, and it needs to be said, we're looking at this film with a higher grade because of who he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is his own hubris in this film. That certain decisions were made. So, you know, going back to the news story we covered right at the beginning, I do think he needs to take a few years off and really get back to making something. Do Dracula. I want him to do Dracula. Or do another science fiction. I wish you'd done a fucking James Bond film, but that's neither here nor there.
Peter Yongo, whatever her fucking name was. Yeah.
That didn't bother me that much, but
the fact that she had to pay the twin sister.
Yeah.
There wasn't a twin sister. I'm sure there wasn't a twin sister. Please correct me.
I don't remember that. But
sister, maybe, but not twin sister.
I mean, look, I've seen the whole thing about accents and everything like that.
Right,
Jason of the Argonauts.
Hold on. Let me just tell you why the accent argument matters to people. Okay, so this is a story for antiquity, yeah, and Shakespeare is from antiquity, and Shakespeare is treated in a way, yeah, where the accent is kind of thing, the language is maintained, all these other things are done, yeah, because of the reverence for Shakespeare. And because whenever the Greek ones, all the ones that worked, all the ones that people remembered, were treated like Shakespeare. And they were kept the reference and stuff
I
like that.
kind of know
and
what
having
you're getting
nice
at.
kind of thing. Sean Bean, in Troy, I think would have been better as Odysseus than Matt Damon.
I know what you're getting at because I have the same argument for Modern Trek, and I know what you're getting at. But there have been a lot of films that are considered classics where the accents are, as I said, Jason and the Argonauts, Ben-Hur, although they are slightly more Shakespearean than this was. But that, Dad and Mum, it could have been slightly more thespian. I don't know if you've watched a lot of the normal herd of videos on this. Honestly, did it bother you as much as it seems to be bothering them? Because you haven't mentioned that.
What's that?
And it, well, like the vernacular, did it bother you that much? Because it didn't. I can understand the cynicism towards Elliot Page's role. I'm not sure that was the biggest problem of the film.
It wasn't the biggest problem of the film. No, the language wasn't the biggest problem of the film. The fact that the gods were missing, which are responsible for 40% of that story, is the biggest problem with that film.
It's very rare that we totally agree on this, but I pretty much agree with every point you've hit. And everything you've mentioned, the grayness of it all, that was something in the back of my subconscious kept trying to tell me, and you put words to it, and you're fucking bang on. And I bet you, but again, I think it's his hubris that thought that would be fine. And I bet he was going for that Shakespearean anger of the gods thing, right? I bet that's what he was going for. But it doesn't work, because it's the whole fucking film.
Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of like Matt Damon in this, but he should have been more fucking Matt Damon from what was the fucking Kevin Smith Angels thing? Why my brain's gone? Dogma. He should have been more that Matt Damon at the beginning, because that's more what Odysseus was like at the fucking beginning, or Ulysses. And you're right about that.
Don't. You have no idea how much I was doing my nutting because this sounds so fucking familiar, and I hadn't put two and two together, and then I put two and two together and fuck.
But I tell you what, even though we've got a big problem with it, it's still a much fucking better film than a lot of shit that I've watched recently. And the fact that the cinema was packed says that at least there is still people that can draw a fucking crowd. Even, an English-speaking film shown in Thailand, even in a university town, is usually, there aren't that many people. That fucking cinema was packed yesterday. I've never seen a fucking queue for the toilet that long since, I think, Avengers. Or Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3 was the last film that I think I went, English-speaking film in Thailand, that was that packed. Right? So Nolan can still draw a crowd, but it sheds a glaring light on the lack of real decent film critics now. Can you imagine if Barry Norman was still alive and we were watching, when the BBC actually made decent programs and they had like film night, whatever it was, there is no fucking way Barry Norman would have given that a fucking 5-star rating. No fucking way. And any decent film critic that has not sold his fucking soul to the alt left or whatever the fucking thing, it's not going to give that. It is a 3-star at best. Right? It does get an additional star because it is Nolan. Right? And you might go, oh, you're just contradicting yourself there. No. Nolan is still a talented director, and I would say the same when I was talking about Bruce. Vince Gilligan is still a fucking talent, but they have been allowed to smell their own farts a little bit too much.
They've indulged themselves a bit too much.
It's indulgent. And you see that with book 5 of Harry Potter as well, which is why book 6 is so much shorter, because they realised it, and that was edited. And I know that. But it's still a Nolan film, and there are still moments of Nolan's talent there. But yeah, I had very similar thoughts to you. I was just waiting to see what you were going to say. I'm really glad that you went to see it yesterday, because I'm glad that we've both seen it and able to talk about it this week. Whereas
it wasn't fucking Supergirl, for fuck's sake. So
no, I know that. I had to go and see that purely because, I did not go and see Spielberg's film, and I'm slightly regretting that I didn't go and see that, because I'm not. The criticism that people have been, I'm going to say this, like, the fandom, what's the face, I'll refer to them, their criticism of this film is wrong. They're focusing on completely the wrong things. I understand the cynicism with Elliot Page, but really, seriously, that is not, they're going, this is going to be, make best supporting actor at the fucking Oscars. Yeah. And, we've known for years what the Oscars is.
She was shit. Her performance was shit. And Peter Nyong'o, my criticism, she delivered what she was supposed to deliver. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
But I'm not convinced it was. Because I know that Nolan likes to work with actors he's worked before, and I'm sure he wanted to work with Elliot Page, and he found a way to put them in, but I'm not. It is, you replaced Achilles and blah blah blah, and Achilles in the Odyssey, Achilles is a bite part story. Achilles is much bigger in the story of Troy itself, right? Rather than in the Odyssey, so they're making something out of this a bit, and I understand why, because I understand where the cynicism is coming from, and the cynicism is deserved, I might want to point out, but I don't think they have criticized this film right. I'm waiting, because I haven't watched Critical's thing of this. I hope, like what we have, he picks it apart for the right reasons, because he's usually quite good at that. But I tend to agree with your criticism of it. I think your criticism is far more.
I'm going to be honest with you. It took me 4 hours to form my criticism, because I watched it and I came out and my brain's going, it's wrong. And then my brain's
I agree with you.
Why is it wrong? And I'm like, okay, let's do some checking. It's like, kind of, what can I? My first thing was, what can I remember from Ulysses and the ancient Turkish legend? I'll give you a tenner if you can reference who if you can get that reference and who it's from. I don't know, some country that was big on hummus and curly shoes. So it's, yeah, I do not want to watch this film again, if that makes any sense. Where if like you said, watch Insomnia or Memento, I would probably watch them again, but this one, no, it's not happening.
I'm not sure I would watch Insomnia again, or I don't think Memento would make me. I think I want to watch this again, but not for a while. I'm just not sure it's his worst film. I think it's his worst film of the modern Nolan era. But you see, I didn't like Dunkirk the first time I went and saw it. It was only the second time when we discussed it and we went through it that you think. And I still think that Oppenheimer is way too long. But I mean, I think he needs to take a break, because he has become a bit more. Oppenheimer is pretentious in places. And it's almost like it began in that film and it's on speed in this film. And I think he needs to take a break, and I think movie studios need to say, look, come on, Chris, because you and me can see this, but with critics and everything, this film is going to make a fortune, right? It's got probably the biggest opening weekend of this year. And it's done that because it's Nolan and because all the critics. I wonder, but this isn't going to carry on, because you say it took you 4 hours to form an opinion. It took me longer. I formed my opinion when you started speaking. Because again, you articulated what was in the back of my head, and I agree with you. And I think a lot of, if it's taken us who are, like to think of ourselves as a film buffs, taking us that long to form an opinion, how long would it take a normies audience to form that same opinion? But they're going to get to that point at some point. So this hubris of Nolan is only going to win so much. His next film actually is going to need to be reined in and edited slightly if he's going to go off. So him taking a break is probably a good thing. But it's, as much as we've picked apart of it, it's nice having an argument about different things to what we would usually argue about.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Elliot Page thing is that big a deal in this. There are other things, and I like talking about that.
I'm going to be honest with you. Those two bits are irritating reminders.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just irritating reminders. They don't affect the story as much as not having the gods in there. They don't have the fact that affect the story as Odysseus or Ulysses is fucking hubris. And sheer fucking hubris actually fucking captures that really well. Yeah. And that's the fact. And that's the bit that fucks him over for 10 years. Yeah. And it's only when what's so much? Is it Athena? Athena turns around and says, I think you've punished him enough. He then sends Hermes to the island to turn around and go, Calypso, let him go. He needs to go home.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But
it's those things there.
It's refreshing though. And this is where I sort of finish on the high. It's refreshing that we've had a debate about this rather than what we usually end up having to talk about. I like that. I'm not saying that Nolan needs to make more films because it creates different arguments, and it's refreshing that to have educated arguments like this, or debates or discussions like this, because we're discussing an actual merit of a film rather than stupid politics. And I find that refreshing, and I find that slightly hopeful in a roundabout way. I mean, as much as we've taken a bit of a dump on this film, I find it refreshing that we're talking about this rather than something else.
And I'll come back to Nolan on a bad day is more interesting than most directors.
I agree with you. I fucking agree with you. And yeah, so no, I do actually kind of feel hopeful. It sounds weird, but this is kind of a high note in many ways. There is hope there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So yes.
And on that note, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me. See you next week.
Bye-bye.